Come here. That to-do list is too long. But we're about to cut it down right now, so let's get into it. Welcome back. In today's video, we are talking about 3 ways to do more of what matters and less of what doesn't, baby. Because that to-do list, okay, is getting out of control and we need to have a conversation about it. My expectation is that you are going to love this video and this conversation as much as I am and that you're going to keep talking. So I want you to hit that link down below if you have any questions about anything that we're talking about. If you are looking for some help, some support, and a community for designing a life that you love, our goal is to help you manage less so that you can live more, all right? And too many of us are spending way too much time managing our lives instead of living it. So if you are interested in better understanding how to multiply your time, talents, and treasures so that you can design a life you absolutely love, please hit that link and schedule some time to talk to the team, hang out with us, have a little chit chat, and we'll get you moving. But let's go ahead and get right into today's video. So let's address the elephant in the room. Okay, optimization, productivity is always a hot topic. That is not what we are talking about. The goal is not productivity. My hunch is that you are an incredibly productive gal, okay? But being productive, being busy, executing, acting is not the same as being fruitful. And taking action is not the same thing as taking aligned action. And our goal is to help you take aligned action and be doing the things that are actually contributing to you designing a life that you love and becoming the person that God created you to be. There is a difference between responsibilities. There is a difference between tasks and actions that need to happen versus tasks and actions that you need to make happen. And that is a critical distinction that once you understand it, it is going to help you regain so much time, so much energy, and fully focus on the things that truly matter to you, knowing that all the things that need to get done are getting done. They just are not getting done by you. And baby, when I tell you, that is one of the best feelings, okay? When I sat down and realized I don't have to do this. Like, I know this thing needs to get done. I am not doubting that the house needs to get cleaned. However, I don't have to be the one to clean it. I quite literally do not have to be the one to clean this house. It will get cleaned. I don't need to do it. Like, the groceries need to be gotten. I do not have to be the one to get them. But when I realized that, not as a productivity tactic, but as a purpose-driven life decision, as a design decision, that unlocked something special in my life. That unlocked the ability for me to focus more on what mattered instead of just focusing or swapping my attention to yet another thing that I did not have to be the one executing on. So the first thing that we're gonna do to shorten that to-do list is I need you to sit down and actually assess what needs to get done. Like, are these things that truly need to happen, or are these things that I just decided to put on because, I don't know, something just comes over us when we're writing to-do lists and we just decide that we want to do every single little possible thing, and the gutters need to get cleaned and the tree needs to get repotted and the kids need a whole new wardrobe, and we just start rattling off all these things. So first things first, we need to actually assess what truly needs to be done. Does this thing really need to happen? Is this contributing to my overall life? Is this contributing to me giving to someone? Is this contributing to me growing in a particular area? Like, is this actually making a meaningful, necessary impact to my life in my current state or the near future? If the answer is no, then it needs to come off the list. If the answer is it is something that needs to happen, but it does not need to happen right now, it needs to be reprioritized. Because here's what happens, and I think that this is a really interesting phenomenon that you might not be aware of. When we sit down and we create these really long to-do lists, I'm talking, y'all remember those calculators that our parents used to be using back in the 80s and 90s? I wasn't born in the 80s, however, I know they were there. that they used to be using before some of us were born, right? And they type on it and all this paper would start rolling over. That's how I feel like so many of our to-do lists are. What happens when we create those type of to-do lists is that from the onset, there is absolutely no way that we are going to execute on all of those things in a day or a week or even a month. And what that creates for us is just this constant backload in our mind of things that need to be finished, that we have not finished, that we do not have the capacity, the mental space, the time, the bandwidth, the energy. Like, we don't have any of the resources necessary to actually complete those tasks. But we have convinced ourselves that those are tasks that need to be completed. And because of that, those are open tabs in our mind. And thoughts are physical matter. Like, whoa, that blew my mind when I really learned that. Shout out to Dr. Caroline Leaf. But our thoughts are real things. They are physical mass that take up space within our brain, within our mind. I say that to say, when your to-do list is crowded with a bunch of things that you do not have the capacity to do, like these were not realistic expectations to be set to begin with. Those are taking up valuable space in your mind for things that are actually important. Things like getting to dream. Things like getting to be creative, things like thinking about where you want to take that next trip, things like being able to sit down and talk to a friend and actually focus on what it is that they are saying to you instead of trying to remember the 100 billion things that you put on your to-do list that actually are not going to be able, that you are actually not going to be able to complete within the time frame that you decided they needed to be completed. So your to-do list feels like it is never ending because it truly is. Because we made this list without realistic expectations and we just let it fly. We just let the clip fly, and that stops now. I need you to start making your to-do list based on what you are actually prioritizing in that current season, and then that informs what it is that you're actually going to be doing within a particular day. So first things first, we need to actually write our to-do list based on our values and our priorities and our capacity to complete them in our current season. That is how we are going to stop feeling like our to-do list is never ending. Whew, woosah. When I sat down and I realized that, my gosh, did my life get a whole lot better. My gosh, did my days get a whole lot better. And I stopped feeling like I was in this perpetual state of failure because I couldn't execute on something that was literally a losing battle to begin with. So we need to actually get realistic about what needs to be done by us, and what needs to be done right now. When we realize that there are things that do not need to be done by us, that is then an opportunity for us to delegate. And delegation does not always mean that we are paying somebody to delegate, but it can, and in some situations, very much so should. I am big on allowing experts to expert, baby, okay? There is nothing, tell me what to do. Tell me the best way to do it, okay? Make a recommendation. Give me an idea. Take something out of my mind, because Lord knows there's enough in it, all right? There is something so freeing about realizing I am not the best person to do this thing. And for many of us, we have always had to do it. Therefore, we believe we are the only ones who can. Let that sit. Really, really let that sit. We have always had to do it. Therefore, we believe we are the best people to do it because we've never had any other option. That can create a whole host of feelings for us. We don't ask other people because people have let us down. We don't ask other people because people have told us no. We don't ask other people because we've been led to believe that the things that we need are too much, that we're asking for a lot, that it's complicated, that we always need something, and on and on and on and on and on, and all these lies that the enemy has tried to get us to believe to deter us and distract us and keep us in this spin cycle. But none of those things are true. The reality is that all of us need help. If we were meant to do this life alone, we would have been put on this planet as one individual. Everybody would be in their own bubble, out in space somewhere. That is not what happened. Instead, God gave you a talent, and he gave her a talent, and he gave her a talent and him a talent and her a talent and him a talent. And then he gave you a need for the talent that they have. And you are sitting here trying to do the thing that they were literally created to do. And you know what it's doing? Delaying you. It is taking away from you. It is distracting you. It is depleting you. It is deterring you because you were not designed to do it. Somebody else was. So when I sat down and I really understood this, life got so much sweeter because it freed me up to do more of the things that I was actually made to do. I think that DIY culture is eating us up. It is eating us up, okay? Do you know how much time, energy, mental space, enjoyment, like how many tears you could save yourself if you just accepted that you are not the best person to do the thing? For some of us, it might be a little bit of pride, and that's something that we have to address as well. The reality is that we cannot do everything. If we could do everything, we will be God, and we're not. So not only are we actually sitting down and determining what needs to be done, what can actually be done right now, and is this something that I need to do? But when we determine that we are not the person to do it, we are putting pride aside. We are being clear and explicit about what it is that we need, and we are finding the best person or people to help us with it. And the more that we do that, the more we are free to do more of the things that matter. One of my absolute favorite swaps, hands down, one of the best things that I have ever done for myself was make a standing hairdresser appointment. And like, this might not sound revolutionary, but hear me out. I grew up in my mom would go to the hairdresser every 2 weeks, okay? Every other week, she was in that hairdresser, okay? And every 4 to 6 weeks, she was getting that touch up, all right? And then I was a natural girl, and like natural hair was this, whole boom. And natural hair was also synonymous with DIY because hairdressers weren't doing natural hair. Then some hairdressers started doing natural hair, but not a bunch of them. And doing my hair became one of those things that while I did not enjoy it, and I was not the best person to be doing it, I felt obligated to do it because I felt like there was no other choice. I had convinced myself that there was no other choice. And then on top of that, I started to convince myself, well, even though there are other choices, I can do it and I've been doing it, so why should I not? But I failed to take into consideration all of the ways that my life had changed, all of the ways that my life had gotten bigger, that my responsibilities had gotten more complicated, right? All of my commitments had expanded, because I, as a person, had grown. And every day and every week and every month and every year, I was like developing into more and more of the person that I was created to be, which means there is more for me to do, which means there is less time for me to do the things that I should not be doing. Like the things that I could once get away with now became things that were in direct conflict with me doing the things that I needed to be doing. And it was ultimately hurting me more than it was helping me. So I sat down and I found a hairdresser, one who actually worked for me, for my needs, one who I enjoyed going to see every couple of weeks. And me and my girl are locked in. She is truly one of my best friends now. And I am so grateful to have her. And imagine all of the joy, all of the just blessings and love that I would have missed out on if I, one, had kept doing something that I was not the best person to do, and two, continued to try to avoid letting somebody else operate in their talent and in their gifting. Every single time that I go to her, she gets to practice, she gets to grow, she gets to develop. And also we get to delight in this life together. That is truly the whole point. So hear me when I say this is not about productivity. This is not about optimization. This is about purpose. This is about designing a life that you love and living your life by design, living your life as the person that you were created to be instead of the one that the world keeps trying to condition you into becoming. That person is tired. She's overdone, okay? She is fried, dyed, laid to the side, okay? She is hitting the goals. The money is coming in. The, events are happening. The titles are being, collected. The prizes are being won. The degrees are being gotten, but she is burnt up inside. Her life is full, but she is constantly empty because she is doing more than she was ever designed or created to do. So I just want you to understand that when it comes to your daily task, there might be things that need to be done in order for your life to operate. You do not have to be the person to do it. You probably should not be the person who is doing it. And there is a big distinction between managing your life and living it. And too many of us are just simply managing our life and going through the motions instead of actually living it, instead of actually delighting in it, instead of actually doing the things that are contributing to us growing and developing and experiencing this life fully, right? When the Lord says that Christ came so that we could have life and life more abundantly, that is not necessarily material things, but an abundance of life. He is life. And all of these other things within our world and within our daily life are not life. Yes, your water needs to run. Yes, the bills need to get paid. Yes, there needs to be food in the fridge. Yes, the house needs to get clean and the bed needs to get made up. But that is not life. Those are just actions, right? Like those are just support beams. Those are just things that are happening in the background that contribute to parts of life, but they are not life in and of itself. And I just want us to be really clear about that distinction, because I think that so many of us say, my gosh, I'm just so caught up with like life is just lifing and there's so much to do all the time. Yes. And there will be more to do if we do not begin to understand what is actually ours to do and what is ours to give away. We can, yes, delegate to people externally and hire people to do things, but sometimes delegation doesn't look like that. Sometimes delegation looks like responsibility sharing. That is something that many of us have a hard time with, particularly us as women. We take on more than we should when we have a supportive husband or boyfriend or family member. We have children who should be doing things for themselves that they are not, because we just do it, maybe out of habit or out of compulsion or out of control sometimes, right? Like sometimes we want the thing to be done in a specific way. And the reality is that sometimes our way is not the best way. It's just the way that we're used to. Did that one hurt? Yeah, I'm sorry. Woo, woo, woo. It's okay. Sometimes our way is not the best way. It's just the way that we're used to. And it is okay to do things a different way. Sometimes we need a new way, okay? Sometimes we need to change things up. Things were getting a little stale, all right? And we need to try something else. So we are delegating and we are sharing responsibilities, all right? We cannot carry everything alone. Specifically, we can't carry boulders by ourselves. But even so, some of the things that we think are in our knapsack that are ours to carry, they really weren't. We were adding extra rocks and things in there that weren't ours to carry, and we need to go ahead and give those back to the people that are responsible for them. We need to give them back to the people who own them. And some of the things that are partially ours, we need to give the other half to the person that it belongs to, like those in your household with you, like those in your business with you, like those in your organization with you. You know what happens every single time we take on more responsibility than we should? Not only do we stop people from getting to operate in their gifting, in their talents, but we also take away the opportunity for people to grow. Not only could you be delaying your destiny, but you might also be delaying and detracting from someone else developing towards theirs, right? So we have to be really mindful about what we are taking on, because sometimes we're not just hurting ourselves, we are also hurting others indirectly, but we are hurting them nonetheless. Number 2, I need you to learn to say no, okay? And I need you to practice saying no so that you can say yes. And the person who you probably need to get better about saying no to is you. Ooh, and it was me. Ooh, I had to get better about saying no to myself. When it comes to my to-do lists and activities and all the things that I am taking on, I had to get intentional about saying no. And this actually might not look like what you think it looks like. You might be good at saying no and like prioritizing and picking what you do and when you do it. What you might not be good at is saying no to yourself when you want to do more. When you want to keep going, okay? You are missing out. I was missing out on so many parts of my life because I was overdoing it. Instead of telling myself, no, you need to stop. Instead of telling myself, no, you need to put that laptop up. Instead of telling myself, no, you need to go ahead and go outside and go for a walk. You need to not answer that phone call. You need to not answer that email. You need to not try to get off that one last idea that you had. Right? I would push myself over a limit. So we have to get better about saying no, about doing less, about setting hard stops and boundaries and stopping, not because the thing is finished, but because it is time, because we have done enough, because we have contributed all that we were meant to contribute at that point in time, because we are not forcing things, but we are allowing things to flow and be what they were intended to be. We are not interfering and getting in the way of the ways that God wants to bless us. We need to get better about saying no, because when we get better about saying no, we open up space for ourselves to be able to say yes fully. There is a difference between yes and a full yes. A full yes is prepared. A full yes has capacity. A full yes says, I am willing. Like a full yes says, I don't understand it, God, but yes, because you are asking this of me and you are pulling me towards this thing. But when we don't say no to the wrong things, it makes it really hard to be able to say yes to the right thing. It also makes it hard for us to be able to say yes and be present in that yes. This might look like our brains being somewhere completely different than our bodies. So we said yes to an event. We said yes to an opportunity. We said yes to go somewhere. We put it on our calendar. But because we didn't say no, when we get there, we are full up of a bunch of other things that we've had going on because our to-do list was too long, because we were over allocated, because we were overwhelmed, because we put far more on our plate than we could reasonably eat in one sitting. So we have to get better about saying no so that we can say yes. And lastly, we need to learn to not delay decisions. Yeah. And I get it. Because what happens is this spin cycle of you having so many things to decide on that every decision feels like it is literally scraping nails on a chalkboard. It feels like it is pulling every single thing that you have in you out of you in order for that decision to be made. That is what happens when we are overloaded. That is what happens when we have put far more on our to-do list, again, that we could actually do. And because of that, we start to delay decisions, not because we want to, but because we feel like we have to, because there are so many other more important things in front of it. It's all important. It's all priority. All 150 of them. Girl, you got them 3 exclamation points next to every single item on that to-do list, okay? When like the exclamation ain't exclaiming anymore, okay? It's not even punctuation for real at that point. Like it's not an emphasis. If everything is emphasized, then you just yelling. Like, it's not. Okay, let me be serious. But for real. Okay, for real. We need to stop delaying decisions. And how we do this is by only putting what we can on our list. You have so many things that are outstanding that need to be decided on, that need to be executed on because you are tired. All right. Think of it this way. If your decision-making abilities were like your laptop, right? If your brain was your laptop and you had every single tab, you had 100 tabs open, you had Spotify playing, you got Sims in the background, you have Apple Music open too because you couldn't find the song that you wanted on Apple Music, so you went over to Spotify, and you have your pictures from your digital camera from your last girls trip all offloading at the same time. And all of a sudden you hear that, your fan is going crazy, okay? She's overheating. Your laptop is buffering, all right? Beyonce singing in the background and she starts, right? Okay? That is what happens to your brain when you have too much to decide on. The cognitive load becomes too much. And then on top of that, you got YouTube playing in the background, your screen's on, you gotta cook dinner, somebody's asking you a question. There is so much going on around you that whatever 15 decisions are outstanding that you were just trying to get through one of them, whatever that was, baby, shut it down. Shut it down. Everything just stops. Okay? Black screen. Screen of death. That screen of death that comes up on your laptop, that's what comes over your brain. All right? That is what happens when we put so much on our plate, so much on our to-do list, so much on our calendars. Things have to start getting pushed back, and we don't even try to focus on finishing what we've already put on there before we add more things on, which is why, again, it is so important for us to go through that kind of decision-making flow that we talked about at the beginning of like, does this actually need to get done to begin with? If it needs to get done, do I need to be the one doing it? Doesn't need to get done, doesn't need to get done right now, and does it need to get done by me? I have a list of things that need to get done. They need to get done by me, but they are duly allotted to the time and space that I actually have the capacity to focus on them. That's it. That's the only way that things can happen. And as a rule of thumb, I never put more than 3 things on my to-do list a day per a couple different categories that I know make sense. I have 3 things on my business to-do list every single day. I have 3 things on my personal to-do list every single day. That is a total of 6 things that I am doing on a given day. And if I have to leave the house, if I have to go somewhere, if I have to, baby, you best believe that list is significantly decreased because I have to be realistic about what is actually possible for my real life and my real capacity on a given day. And the way that that comes is by developing the skill of self-awareness. It comes by learning to make decisions based on your true values and priorities. I understand what I actually need to be doing, what only I can do, and what it is contributing to in the broader, grander scheme of my life. I do not do anything that I cannot explain. And saying God told me to is a full explanation. It is actually one of the best explanations, even if I cannot fully explain it in human terms. If you know, you know. Right? So I am not saying that you have to be able to give a 3-point thesis statement for every single thing that you are doing, but you should be able to understand why you are acting and prioritizing on this thing versus just putting something on your calendar. And if you need some help really learning to understand that and really being able to understand, am I just managing this or am I actually living? Again, be sure to hit that link in the description box and hit us up so we can have a conversation. But I think that you're already off to a good start, okay? Because you have fully learned how to spend more time doing the things that truly matter and less time doing the things that do not. Because you are now looking at your to-do list every single day and you are asking yourself, is this actually something that needs to get done? Is this something that needs to get done right now? And is this something that needs to get done by me? And then you are acting accordingly, whether that is delegating, whether that is saying no so that you can say yes, or whether that is executing executing on the decisions that need to be made right now. We do not delay and we do not deter delegation, because when we do that, we are taking away someone else's opportunity to grow and evolve, to operate in their gifting and their talents, and we are taking away our opportunity to be blessed. When we don't say no enough, we take away our opportunity to say yes and say yes fully. And when we do not delegate and we do not ask for help or share responsibility, we take away the opportunity for people to love us well, and for us to get to experience that love and that goodness. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, join the family, all right? And check out that link in our description box, because like always, we're taking one step at a time to design a life we absolutely love. Bye.